Welcome to RezoBiz, episode number 10 of the HotRod series, where we're building a Black Locust resonator guitar. This week we'll be working on a little bit of the back bracing. We'll be making the sound forward hole and installing that. It's funny to sound like you're installing a hole, but that's what we're doing. We're also going to be working on maybe a little bit of the neck and a few other things. I'm not sure. I can't remember everything that was planned out, but stick with us and watch this progression of this. Well, it's going to be a really neat guitar. I'm Byrl with Byrl Guitars, and welcome to RezoBiz, where everything is greater with a resonator. So I need to trim this excess off. So I'm going to use my flush cut router here, clean up this edge, and then I can start working on the braces for the side and the sound forward hole. Here we go. Alright, that'll smooth that up. Alright, I've got this edge trimmed off. Now what I'm going to be working on is we're going to get these side braces put in here. They will go all but this section. This section will be braced by what I call a sound forward hole. But the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these little braces we're going to put on the edges to brace up the sides. Then I have usually I have a baffle to make, and I have upper braces to put in, but we already put in the kind of the brace for the top so I can put the F holes in and they'd be strengthened, so that's done. No baffle goes in it whenever I put in sound forward hole, because we're letting as much of the sound out as we possibly can. This design, this way I'm doing it, this is as loud as I can make them. For me, for our guitars, there might be a couple little tweaks I can do, but it's hard, dense wood. It's a full body, or a big body, so it does create a big sound, deeper sound. And then I've got enough sound being able to come out the different sound ports. There is a lot of discussion, opinions about sound forward or sound holes, sound ports on the sides of the guitars. Resonator's not a guitar, and so it has a different effect for sure. It does create a different sound. It sounds, to me, kind of gives it a fuller surround sound, and it definitely projects towards the people that you're playing for. And so I'm always pointing at this side over here right now because it's flipped upside down, but this will be on this side and it faces the people. So it does a lot of different things, but for a guitar, for a dobro, it works great. But this is what we're going to be working on, that, and we got the back braces we've made. So that's the direction. Now I'm just going to work. Probably won't talk a lot. All right. so I have that's what will be the sound forward hole. You say, well, it's flat. I know, but it's the shoulder of the guitar now. Instead of bending the whole side, I'm just going to bend just the little piece here. If you can see that, well, it's wet, but it's a real pretty piece of wood. We'll see if we can't get some of that to show through the dye when we dye it. That it's good and warm. That wet maple, once you get it warm, even maple just hot is flexible. Maple's wonderful to work with. As far as bending, I think. Carving it, planing it, that's not so wonderful. Alright. That'll give us our shape pretty good there. Right now I can touch it, but give it a little time, I won't be able to touch it. So we got the hole done. Now it's bent. I'll give it a few minutes here and then I'll shut this thing off and let it cool down. Then I gotta do the scary part. You work so hard to keep your sides safe and don't tear them up, don't crack them, don't get them bent the wrong way, and because there's an up and down and inside and out to them. Then you get them finally on the guitar and then you go and cut a hole in it. It's nerve-wracking. So I have favorite parts to building a guitar, and then I have parts I don't like at all, and the next part I don't enjoy. It scares the life out of me, seems like. There we go. So I have my stencil on here, and I've used it in different ways. But what I've started doing now is doing it just like you saw me do the holes. I use this stencil to draw out the circle, the oval, and I used to use it as a guide for the router, and I had it set up so it would work right off the shaft. But it was only so. Just didn't really like it. I was always adjusting stuff on it. So now I just use it to pencil it in, give me a good oval shape, and then what I have to do is I come back and I look over any weird lines that I don't like, and so just a little bit of a line I don't like right here, and I just straighten it out, because I'm going to follow it with my razor blade. And what the razor blade does, and I was taught this to do inlay, it's pretty much how I'm doing this, it's just like an inlay. The razor blade gives the wood fibers a place to break away at, and so they break away right on the area you cut with the X-Acto blade. So I just get this X-Acto blade in here, and get it exactly on the line. cut through the line, or cut in the, follow the line around, then I cut in the channel I make a couple times to make it a deep cut. And as soon as you get up to it with your router blade, those pieces chip away and you know you're there. The original idea for this was because I share a mic, or did share a mic with a guy that played guitar. The guitarist stood right beside me, and then sometimes I'd step up or want to step up and use the mic, but of course the mic for a guitar is set up totally different than the way you'd use it for a dobro. And I'm not talking professional, just playing in church. I'm not a professional player or anything by any means. So maybe the professionals don't even do it that way, hardly, I don't know. But I know I was able to, once I put this in, I could, some guys hold their dobro so much different it may not work. But the first thought for sound forward hole was to be able to share a mic with the guitar player. I thought that would be pretty neat. And the guitar I was building at the time, I had kind of free reign to do what I wanted. And so I did it. The surprise was it, obviously, everything affects everything. Affected the sound. And I say everything affects everything. Everything, that could be true. Everything makes a difference. It has some effect. Whether you can hear it, see it, feel it, but everything has some sort of effect. Whether you can measure it or not with your own senses doesn't change the fact that it does have an effect. Well, this was such a big deal, cutting a hole in the side of it. It was I could notice it. And I think it changes the tone a little bit. I think on my mahoganies and koas, it makes the biggest difference. It's almost like it tunes it to a certain tone, and I like it the best, I think, on those guitars. It's not a sound that's so big, it's like, oh, that's just life-changing. It's just, there's a tone, there's a sound to it that I like, and I think some people have liked not knowing that it was the effect of the hole. And they thought maybe it's just the wood, or just a particular way that I build my guitars, which that is particular. But the credit wasn't given to the holes, not as much as what it actually lends itself to. So it's turned out to be something very unique. I like it. Here we go. Alright, just so you can see, there's the piece I just cut out. Doesn't that look like it doesn't look very scientific. It doesn't look very skilled at all. Here we go. Now this looks like rats been chewing on it. Do that in the side of a Brazilian rosewood set. Oh. Now I just gotta trim up to my edge to get rid of the excess. And in fact, that's what I'm going to do again, is I'm still not going to trim up to the edge. I'm just going to get close. Gotta make sure I got my light though. I need light. Hope that's not too much in your all y'all's way. Look a little nicer, and again I've just shaved it close to the line, and a couple spots I had a part where it caught wrong. I was going the wrong direction, and it kind of wanted to do a tear out, but because I cut with that razor blade, it stopped right where the hole was supposed to be. Alright, I got our piece out of the bender. I've shaped the sides, beveled them for the inside, and cleaned that up. And you can see it fits right in there, just like that. I got my clamps ready, and we're going to get this thing glued in. I'm just trying to make sure it's touching all the way around so it's good and connected. Trying not to get carried away with that, but then I also don't want to be too light with it. Well, that's worth taking a picture of. I look like I got I don't know, a collage, it's like a decorative piece of clamps growing out of the corner of my guitar. Alright, there's our sound forward hole. Gotta do some glue cleanup, but that'll look neat, and it works neat. Alright, so I have my braces glued up. Now they need to be sanded and cleaned up a bit, and then I cut it through the middle on both of them, and I'll have 2 braces for the lower belt and 2 for the top. That's done. Took the center where we took that piece out for the cone and got this wood out of it, and what we'll do is join them together excuse me, and they will become the head plate, but right up to where the nut will be. And so, but you can see, maybe you can, maybe you can't. Let's see, how is that doing that? There's still, yeah, I probably can't show you on the camera. Still a little bit of light showing through it, so what I'm doing right now is locking this down so that I can glue it up. Just like joining back and sides. Not back and sides, but 2 back plates. There it is. So that'll end up being top plate, and we'll shape it with the head. And you know, we still got a thickness to the head, really the whole body. We'll get a fretboard thickness sanded for this too, so we can get that going. Alright, there we have it. We have our braces made. We have top plate for the head plate, I guess you'd call it, for the neck, and we have our sound forward hole. The hole is installed, and so that is actually that takes a good bit of time. The next thing we're going to do is put some F-holes in this, work on the back a little bit more, and maybe get this get a fretboard lined up and get the neck bolts in. That's the direction we're going anyhow. Stay tuned for next week. If you enjoyed the video, like us down below, subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching.